Sorry for the interruption, but I have to share something with you. Because if you've ever run a Run Disney race and spent the whole time worrying about the balloon ladies catching you, you're not alone, and I've got something for you. I'm hosting a free challenge called the 30 Day to Faster Kickstart. It's designed to help Run Disney runners drop 1 minute per mile in the next 30 days without burnout, without guessing your pace, and it's 100% run walk friendly. We start May 22nd. It's just 3 runs a week and it's totally free. Head to the link in the show notes or DM me faster on Instagram, runDisneyDPT, and I'll send you the link. Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about permission to pivot, how to keep training when life gets in the way. This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line. So this topic has been on my mind this month because it's exactly what's happening to me. So I'm training for Chills and Thrills, and training has not gone as planned. Life got lifey. As you know, that's my saying of when stuff happens and your normal schedule gets all out of whack. It happens, it is completely normal. If it didn't happen, I would question what your life is like. Haha, just kidding. But it's totally normal. It's going to happen to pretty much everybody. So, workouts in May for me did not go as planned. I'm literally looking at my Apple Fitness because I have an Apple Watch. I track on Apple Fitness. If you've been following my training plan for Chills and Thrills, that's what I'm training for. You know that training started on May 4th. If you aren't following my training plan and you'd like to, I have free training plans for all of the Run Disney races on my website, dralliept.com, or you can check the show notes for that link. Please go ahead and download that. Thank you so much. So training should have started May 4th. It just didn't happen for me. April was the lifiest life of month for me. Royal's dad was in the hospital. He was in and out of the hospital. He was there for 10 days. He came home for about a week. He was in for another couple of days. And to no fault of their own, the family, his mom, his sister, Royal himself, Royal's better now. They don't know medical lingo. They don't know healthcare lingo. So I was literally at the hospital some days 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. helping them navigate that. And when it was all said and done, I wasn't going to go home and I wasn't going to run and keep up and things like that. So I did get some walks in, I did get some runs in April, but with the way life happened in April being there so long, it pushed things that normally would have happened in April, it pushed them into May, and things were getting hectic. So that meant that I was delayed in starting my training. So my training was supposed to start May 4th. It was a Sunday. If you've looked at my training plan, that first run is 3.1 miles. I was doing awesome leading up to it with hitting all of my long runs for base building. Base building is technically my 0 to 5K training program, essentially. There are a few tweaks, but that's to get you up to the 5K distance because all of my training plans beyond 5K start at a 5K. So if you're doing a 10K, a half marathon, a challenge, marathon, goofy, dopey, you're starting at a 5K. So that's why I recommend base building beforehand, 0 to 5K, builds you up to 3.1 miles. Well, I didn't do my math right. I didn't count backwards right. I don't know what I did wrong, actually, because it's in a Google sheet. You guys know I am a nerd, and I love my data, and I love looking at it on my Google Sheets. But I actually hit the 3.1 mile mark on my 0 to 5K training plan a week or two earlier. So I actually did multiple 3.1 miles. So that was pretty good. I was well prepared. And that happened, leading up to May. Normally, the 0 to 5K, it would put that 5K distance that first week of the training plan. So I was a little ahead of schedule. So that didn't really work in my favor, because it would have meant that, or it did mean that I did multiple. And had I started on May 4th, I would have done another 3.1. I wouldn't have skipped that first run. So because everything was delayed, I ended up starting May 11th. And so I am technically a week behind in my current training plan. Did 3.1 miles. And somebody said to me on Instagram, because I posted like, hey, I'm a week behind, blah, 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 whatever, just as a fact. And somebody DM'd me and was like, well, why didn't you just start at 3.41? It's not that far off. You're right. It's not. I technically could have, but I like to practice what I preach. And I would have told a client, start at 3.1. So that's what I'm going to do. It feels good in my integrity to say that or to do that because that's what I'm going to say. If you've ever worked with me, I tell my clients all the time, I won't have you do something that I wouldn't do myself. So a strength exercise, burpees, hell no, I hate burpees. So they will never be programmed on your schedule. A crazy, crazy strength workout, speed workout, something like that. I'm not gonna program it for you. Now, if you ask me to do it, I might if we're working one-on-one together. But probably not because if I haven't done it, I don't know the repercussions of it. I don't know how you're going to feel after it. I don't know if it's going to work. I have no idea. So anyway, so that's why I started with 3.1 because that's what I would have told a client in Stronger, Faster, Finisher to do. That's what I would have told a one-on-one client to do. So that's what I did. So that just meant that 3.1 miles started on May 11th. And I'm going to look at all of the sessions I did here in May. So I walked that whole first week. Nope, excuse me, I did not. Those walks, those are Levi's Snafaris that I am looking at right now. So I started technically on May 12th. I did my easy run. Then the next day, that was a Monday. Then on Tuesday, I did elliptical and strength. I rested Wednesday and Thursday. On Friday, I did tempo and strength. And on Saturday, I did cross training walking. The next week, it did not go as planned. Shit hit the fan. I ended up doing my long run on Tuesday, May 20th, and basically rested the rest of the week. I walked Levi, did a bunch of stuff around the house, but really I didn't do much. And now that I'm thinking about this, the day that I was supposed to do it, the day that I was originally going to do my tempo run, that's the day that I did the elliptical during that first week. And that's because when I went out for my tempo run, my foot hurt. That never happens. It was really weird. And I did what I tell my clients to do. Give it 5 minutes. If it's tolerable and you feel like you can keep going, it's just kind of like an annoyance. Kind of like if your sock is folded over and that's kind of annoying, you wish you could change it. That's something you can push through. Give it 5 minutes. Does it stay like that? Does it get better? Keep going. If not, if 5 minutes and you're like, you know what, this is not tolerable or it's getting worse, go ahead and switch it up. So options that I had where I could have switched my shoes. I realized that although shoes don't make a huge, huge difference, that is one thing that I say different about from other run coaches. Shoes don't make a huge difference. When that is not true, is the instance I had, I realized my shoes were so old and I should have changed them out sooner. Things happened, I forgot, to be completely honest, and they hadn't bugged me yet to remind me. So when they finally did bug me, oh, yep, these are old shoes. And that, when it becomes a problem is when the shoes are so old that you're losing cushion. The material is actually starting to break down. I say that shoes don't really matter in a whole lot in what shoes you wear for the majority of runners. So I decided, you know what? I could go home, I could change my shoes to ones that are newer, but I looked at the time and I wanted to do strength workouts. And I just, you know what? This isn't going to work for me. If I'm going to get the type of workout I want in today, I can't do a tempo run. So I just switched it up and I went to the gym. The gym is a mile from my house. I didn't run there, I drove there, did the elliptical, and did strength. Normally I would run there. So if I had done a tempo run, I would have run there, done my strength, and walked home as my cool down. That didn't happen. So drove to the gym, worked out, drove home. So that pushed my tempo run to Friday, and that worked out just fine. Then that following week, shit hit the fan. Easy run, 3.41 miles. It was fine. It was fine. That was the first run I had tried scratch. That was pretty tasty. I tried strawberry lemonade. And if you're looking for a beverage, a hydration drink for your run that's not super sweet but has some flavor, scratch was delicious and it was not sweet. So normally I would use liquid IV. I wanted to try something new. Tried some scratch, delicious and not super sweet. So I will continue using it moving forward. I will also continue using liquid IV because I absolutely love it. Then last week, I was actually on vacation and I had a solid workout week. I hit every single workout that I was supposed to hit last week on the days that I was supposed to hit it. So Sunday, easy run, 3.7 miles plus warm up and cool down. Monday, rest. Tuesday, 30-20-10 speed workout for 45 minutes. Wednesday, easy effort cross training, which was a paced walking. I had a goal for that particular workout to maintain a 16-minute per mile pace. And holy cow, I hit it. It was 15:59. I hit it with 1 second to spare. So that was awesome. I did it for 45 minutes. So that was 3 miles. And that was really good. And it's so interesting. If you follow me on Instagram, then you saw I posted about it, that was actually harder to do than some of my other workouts. It felt so different. It felt different in my shins. It felt different in my hips. It just felt different moving my body in this way that it just wasn't used to. Now, of course, I walk all the time, but I'm usually going like warm-up pace, which for me, I think is 18:30, maybe 19 minutes per mile, or I'm going at Levi's Snifari pace, which is 45 minutes per mile, where I'm helping him, letting him sniff every blade of grass, and just standing around and waiting for him to roll in something else and poop somewhere else. That's what a Snifari is. But it was so eye-opening. But since I didn't have access to an elliptical, I didn't have access to, a spin bike or anything like that, I was like, you know what? Let's give 16 minutes per mile a go. I've done paced walking as cross training before, but not trying to maintain that pace. I really like doing that as a cross training activity because when in doubt, if you can't run your race, now you know what it looks like, or what it feels like rather, to hold the pace of the balloon ladies. So when in doubt, worst case scenario, you can just fall back to that pace and you know what it's like because you've done it before. Then on Thursday, I did a hill workout. It should have been a progression, but because of where I was, I had hills. Holy cow, was that hard. And I found a hill and I ran up it for 30 seconds and then recovered for 2 minutes. So walked down the hill and then just waited until the 2 minutes were over. And I did that 10 times. It was really hard. And it's interesting that during the recovery, I was so tempted to start running sooner, especially in those earlier rounds, round 3, 4, as an example. I looked at my watch and I'm like, okay, well, I could just hit next and I could start my run earlier. I feel fine. My breathing has recovered. I'm going to skip this 2-minute recovery. I had the discipline to overcome that thought. And I'm so glad I did. And I really recommend that you overcome that thought as well. Give your body the time to recover, because even if you feel good for rounds 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, your body is really tired. So a hill workout like this, 30 seconds of running and then 2 minutes of recovery, 30 seconds 10 times, that's not that much activity, right? 30 seconds, that's not that much activity. That's 5 minutes of running. In my 30-minute workout, I think it was 30 minutes. Let me actually look at this now. Actually, it was 41 minutes. In my 41-minute workout, I was only actually running 5 minutes. That sounds like nothing. It was hard. And you are training yourself specifically for the runDisney hills. The hills, what I mean by that are the ramps on the highway. They're not that long, but they do add an element to your run. So you need to know how to navigate those. Your muscles need to know what they feel like. They need to be ready for them. And you need to know how fast to push up that ramp in order to control how you're going to feel afterward. If you sprint up that hill and you've never done that before, it's going to take you probably 2 miles to recover from that because your body just doesn't know what just happened. But if you do it regularly, 30 seconds, you're going to recover in 2 minutes. Or you could figure out, this is the pace that I can go up this hill and not have to significantly recover. My body can handle it. Maybe it's, half the speed of a sprint going up that hill, and your body knows, that if you go that pace, that speed up that hill, it's going to be like nothing ever happened. So resist the urge to skip the recovery. Doing more is just doing more. It's not necessarily better. More is more. Balanced is better, right? Give yourself that recovery. And it doesn't have to be equal recovery. It's not 30 seconds of running, 30 seconds of recovery. I recommend the 2 minutes, so don't skimp on that. And then on Friday, I did easy effort cross training. I did not do it on Saturday. I flip-flopped Saturday and Friday for rest and easy cross training. And then we're back to Sunday, and that's the day that I am recording this. Today's run, 4.13 miles plus 10 minutes warm up, 10 minutes cool down. And if you don't know, I live in Las Vegas. I am back in Las Vegas this week, and holy hotness. It is 95 degrees today. It hit 109 while I was driving home yesterday from where we were on vacation. So needless to say, a lot of my miles are going to be on the treadmill when I'm in Las Vegas. So today's run was on the treadmill. And it's so interesting. I told Royal, I said, I'm going to go for my long run today, but it's too hot out. I'm going to do it on the treadmill. And he lifted his eyebrows. And I was like, what's that look for? He's like, how long? And I did the math. So my easy pace is 12 minutes per mile, 4 miles. So now we are hitting 48 minutes plus 10 minutes warm up. So that's 58 minutes plus 10 minutes cool down. That's 68 minutes plus however long it will take me to do 0.13 miles. That's probably 2 minutes. So I was like, oh, it's going to be 70 minutes. He goes, oh, that's a long time on the treadmill. And you know what? It's not that bad. I have a TV that I get to watch, and I put on a TV show to keep me entertained and motivated. And here's your motivation tip. If you're using a treadmill, save your TV shows, save your favorite TV shows for only when you are on the treadmill. So I'm on a House kick again and House MD. And so I've been watching that lately, and I was like, oh, I'll just put on a House MD episode and watch and go from there. And it was glorious. I went through more than one episode because I think they're like 45 minutes long. So I was stretching partway through the second episode. It was great. And on the treadmill workout, I do track it on my watch. But if you don't know, tracking watch to treadmill, the mileage is not going to match because your watch, whatever watch you have, it figures out your distance based on GPS. But it gets all screwy when you're technically staying in the same place. So my tip for you with that is make your watch be time-based if you are going to be on the treadmill. So I figured out my easy pace based on my testing. If you haven't gone through my testing to find your easy, moderate, and hard paces, I do that in Stronger, Faster, Finisher. All of my clients know their paces. That's how you go. I do the same thing. Remember when I said it's in my integrity to do the same thing that you are doing? I tested my pace. My pace is 12 minutes per mile. So I did running sections of 10 minutes, and then I did a walking section of 2 minutes because in my mind that adds up to 12, so that's going to add up to 1 mile. Well, dummy Allie forgot that I am walking at a different pace than what I'm running at. So I chose the wrong walking interval. That's okay. It probably should have been 4 minutes. So my timing on the treadmill, I ended up being on just a little bit longer. That's okay. No problem. We pivot, right? Permission to pivot. And so I did that. It's very interesting. After I did my warm-up walk, which I think was 3.5 miles per hour, maybe, that felt comfortable for me. It really, let me back up. If you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, those paces are so fast, please do not compare your paces to my paces. Your paces are your paces. My paces are my paces. We are all welcome here. I could have very fast paces compared to you. I could have very slow paces compared to you. They don't matter. Okay? Oh God, there's some TV show. Oh, the TV show, oh, Drew Carey was the host for so long. Whose line is it anyway, where the points don't matter, right? Like the paces don't matter. They're your paces. So please, as I'm saying these numbers, please, please, please don't get all up in your feels because your paces are your paces. You only compare to your pace, what your pace was last month, last year, 10, maybe not 10 years ago, because as we get older, our paces are going to change too. Just compare yourself to recently, okay? So anyway, I started running after my warm up, and my pace is 12 minutes per mile based on my testing. So that's 5 miles per hour. As I started, I was like, oh, this just feels awkwardly slow. This feels so uncomfortable. I should increase it. I should go faster. I want to do 5.5 miles per hour. And I said to myself, not out loud, because if I did, Levi would have come running. But I said to myself, I said, no, Allie, don't do it. Don't do it, because although your pace feels easy right now, what's it going to feel like in 4 miles? What's going to feel like in 45 minutes? You have tested this pace before. Trust the process. And thank goodness I have the discipline to overcome that feeling, because 45 minutes later, I was like, okay, this is still an easy pace, but it doesn't feel awkwardly slow. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. I'm glad I stayed here. Please remember, when you are doing your run, trust the process. You tested your paces. You literally have the data on what pace feels comfortable for the long amount of time. We can't trust how we're feeling in the very beginning unless you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to die. Trust that and slow down. But if you feel like, oh, this is so easy, I need to go faster, don't. think about the long game. How is this pace going to feel in 45 minutes? How's this pace going to feel next week? Because every week is going to be different. It's a brand new week. If you go too fast on your easy run now, next week you're going to be slower. Or maybe 2 weeks from now, you're going to be slower. Or maybe 6 weeks from now, you're going to be slower because you burnt out. Your muscles are like, no, no, no. We know this drill. We're not going to be able to go that fast for this amount of time. We're going to hold you back. So have the discipline to back off. Remember, easy days are easy. So today, easy peasy day. 4.13 miles plus 10 minutes warm up plus 10 minutes cool down. So I think it was like 4.6 miles or something total. I felt energized afterward. I stretched. Royal and I had something to do on the computer. We did that. I showered. I didn't feel the need to go and take a hot Epsom salt bath. I went to the grocery store. I went to Trader Joe's, got a few things. I have the energy to make dinner tonight. I had the energy. I sold something on Facebook Marketplace, and I had the energy to go meet the person to exchange those items. I rested a little bit on the couch. I also had energy to do this podcast episode, which if you have ever done podcast episodes, it does take energy. You have to be energized for it to come through on the other side. If I don't feel like recording a podcast episode, it's going to come off as, was it Ben Stein? What's the guy? Bueller, right? Like, you know what, the dry eyes guy. God, I think it's Ben Stein. But, you know, you don't want it to feel like that. So because I held off on that easy long run today and I went my actual easy pace, even though it felt uncomfortable in the beginning, it paid off because I had the rest of the day to do whatever I wanted because I still had the energy to do it. So with this whole episode, Permission to Pivot, I did talk a lot about what I was doing. But did you hear that training hasn't been going great? But that's fine because training is not always going to be perfect. You're going to have some really crummy runs. You're going to have some really crummy weeks where you don't get anything done. You're going to have some really great runs. You're going to have some really great weeks where you hit every single workout. Missing a run or having to manipulate the schedule isn't failure. It's part of the process. Training isn't about perfection. It's about flexibility and consistency over time. One missed run, even a few, it doesn't mean that you've fallen behind or that you're not ready. It means that you're human. And learning how to pivot, reset, and keep going, that's what makes you ready for race day. You can change up your workout days in the week. Even if you start late in the training program, there's always time to make it up. If you're following my training plans, I work in deload weeks. It is ideal to go through each and every week as it's laid out. But if you miss a week, well, that's no problem because then you just cut out that deload week. So as an example, I should have started on May 4th. I started on May 11th. Well, the week of June 8th, which is next week, that's a deload week. I am going to skip that deload week technically. And so I will do my 4.54 mile long run next week. And then on June 15th, I'm back on schedule because I could just cut out that deload week completely. Never miss a long run. You can move it around. That's okay because there's going to be time later in the training to make up that long run, so to speak. If you're a client of mine in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, you've heard me say there are no makeups. We don't make up long runs, meaning we don't make them up within the same week, or we don't add on extra miles to make up those miles. We manipulate the schedule so then later in the training plan, you lose a deload week instead. And so everything just gets shifted. And then aim to keep your 30 to 45-minute speed workouts, aim to keep your cross training, but sometimes those can't happen for whatever reason. Go for a walk instead. Do some kind of movement. Of course, you don't want to miss them every single week, but don't get too down on yourself if you miss them every once in a while. This is your permission to pivot. Move the schedule around to work for you, even if it means doing a little bit less. If you don't have 45 minutes to do for a speed workout, do you have 20? Do you have 30? Do a little bit. A little bit is better than none. This is your permission to pivot. If you're feeling nervous about whether you can actually cross the finish line at Dopey, if you've been training hard but still wondering, will I really make it? I want you to know there's a better way. Stronger, Faster Finisher is built for runners just like you. The slow, injury-prone, not really a runner, runners who aren't chasing a podium. You're chasing a personal record in fun. You want those castle photos, those character stops, that pineapple cider at the finish line without feeling broken, defeated, or like you barely survived. Inside Stronger, Faster Finisher, you'll build your training smarter with the right mileage, the right pacing, and the right recovery. So you don't just survive Dopey. You'll finish it strong, proud, and smiling, exactly the way you imagined. As always, thanks so much for listening. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.